under. Boy.
Stop missing all these days.
Yeah.
I only got like 5 days. Okay. You let us do it. Okay. You like it. Okay, I know.
Y'all gotta stop. Okay, moving on. Kingston, stop missing and then asking crazy questions. Please. Lord, what kind of question is that? I'm still hung up on that. The beginnings of our videos on these 2-day long notes are ridiculous every time. It seems like there's always something happening as I start a video. It's ridiculous. This is already recording, so half of that little monologue is in the video. I ain't editing it out either. I want them to know what teachers go through. First thing in the morning. It's not even 8:30. It is 8:04, and I'm answering questions that are crazy.
Well, Alicia, that's what it is.
They did know who this was. People get a good laugh watching these videos. They learn math, and they also get to laugh at my expense every time.
I gotta start watching these videos.
Yeah, go back and rewatch them. Go back. You will hear some stuff every time. So, bringing it back. This is what we talked about yesterday. We talked about rate of change as being slope in words, meaning we're writing statements to describe and to give actual connections to what the numbers are. We learned what units were yesterday, or in the fact of we recalled them. Units of measurement such as inches, centimeters, things such as time when we talked about days, minutes, hours, and then we talked about monetary units, meaning dollars. Those are all things that we talked about yesterday, but you have to know rate of change to then come over and understand what unit rate is. This is when we put everything over what number? 1. So everything in terms of the input being 1. Any questions there? So, if we're looking at our next examples, remember these words. Y'all did better about it towards the end yesterday of remembering to put per, each, and every. Please keep up with that. We're going to look at some new examples today. They describe the initial value, so which means we need to write the y-intercept in words as well. That's what this is doing for examples number 2, 3, and 4. It's adding a little bit more. So this is what we're adding. That's what you need to put asterisks next to or highlight. Remember, when you put the asterisks to add emphasis. So, someone read this sentence for me.
The number of apples A on the tree branches B is multiplied by the equation A equals 15B plus 2.
Thank you so much, sir. That took some effort. I love it. 10 out of 10.
I don't know why it's not yours.
So, what variable is independent? Recall from yesterday. Remember, if you don't know, don't speak without looking back first. So, what variable goes with independent? X. Look at that recall skill. What variable goes with dependent?
Wow.
Thank you so much. What 2 things am I looking at? Tree branches and what? Apples. So we have tree branches and we have apples. Which one will be our independent? So the question we're asking is, which one is affecting what?
The tree branches is apples.
Thank you. The tree branches are affecting the number of apples. So, what is my independent between that? Tree branches. Because this is what's causing the effect. Meaning my dependent is what? So, do I need to look far to find my rate of change? No, because what do I notice was given to me? Thank you, an equation written in y equals mx plus b. So what variable goes with the rate of change? Slope, which is what? I'm asking what variable? Repeat the slope-intercept formula again. Which one of those variables is slope? M. Notice how it's not x? It's attached to x, but is it x? No, because you still have to say m separately and x separately. Make sense? So, rate of change is what variable? M. And what's taking the place of m in this equation? 15. So, how would I write 15? Because what does 15 represent? 15 what? 15 what, Gavin, what'd you say? Because how do I write this as a fraction? 15 over 1. Recall from yesterday, what is at the top of my fraction? Remember, look before you speak it, right? Look before you speak it. What variable's at the top of my fraction for slope? No. Why? Because you go back and you recall. Zai, let's do it together. Flip your paper over too. It's not just my paper, because I can flip mine all day, but I'm certified to teach this. I went to school for it. I know more than you when it comes to this. But if I'm physically doing the act, I need you to physically do the act, okay? It's monkey see, monkey do. I do, we do, you do, okay? So, do you see that variable? What does that say? What's at the bottom? So what variable's at the top? What variable's at the bottom? And what are we trying to do? Can we do that? So, how hard is it to flip it?
Oh, no,
I know. That's why I'm asking you. Is this a hard concept to flip it, baby? Can we do it? Let's do it. So, what's at the top? What variable? Thank you. What's at the bottom? What goes with y based on what we just wrote? Based on what we just wrote. What goes with y based on what we just wrote? Thank you, because what's right above dependent? I'm asking you to do what? And? Thank you. Can you recall that's y up there? If you don't have your y written, that's why you don't know. Make sense? You can't be a victim if you're deciding to be one. Be for real. So what's at the bottom? Tree branches. So how would I write this in words right here? Pause for just a second. You weren't here. I want you to try, but they need to lead this so you can see what's going on. Does that make sense? Everyone that was here yesterday, you need to flip your paper over and look at how we wrote the rate of change on the first page. Give it a second, Zai. Read for me. Aaliyah, flip with us. Read with us. This is your grade 2. The only one who ain't flipping is Kingston, because he was not here. But everybody else, you got 2 eyes. In some case, some of you got 4, just like me. Y'all can read. Jordan, what you think?
Oh, like you put like each? Like...
We have to, but there needs to be something in front of that, correct? I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying you need something in the front of it first. Right? That tells you the division sign, right? So what needs to be written first? So he's not far off. Y'all just need to help him figure out what comes first. The apples. What do you know about the apples? 15. So how would you write that? Don't think too hard. 15 what? What'd you just say?
15 apples per tree?
Not per tree, but per branch. You could say tree branch. You just need to have branch in there somewhere. I'll put tree branch so we're more comfortable. See, look at that. And you can say 15 apples for each tree branch. You see how yours still came in? Can you choose any of those 3 words? So were you wrong? We just was missing a little bit of spice, weren't we? We just need a little bit. We was all right. That would, you want to keep the y first. That way you know that that's the y at the very top per this. So it's distance per mile. Get what I'm trying to say? Like you're trying to keep that there. Or miles per second. That way you know that goes on the top and this one goes on the bottom, because that per is the division sign. But be mindful of that. That's what I would watch out for. In some contexts it can work. In this context, we're trying to keep it y over x. So my question here is, do I have to change anything from my rate of change to my unit rate? Why not? What's special about unit rate? Flip back, reference, recall. What's special about unit rate? Zai, don't pull from the artillery up top. Go and look at the page. That's what we're trying to learn, yes? Y'all have to put the physical action there to get the actual result. You see how you just figured that out by reading it? What's down there? A 1. And what do you need in the denominator for it to be unit rate? A 1. So do I have to do anything? I just rewrite the same thing on the other side. Look at you go. 15 apples per tree branch. Now my question here is, what variable in my slope-intercept form goes with initial value? What is it taking the place of? Which variable? B. So now tell me what number's in the place of it. So what is my initial value? 2 what? 2. What is this? What represents y in this scenario? Apples. So 2 what? Thank you. Because we're writing our y-intercept also how? Didn't we just add word? So we need to add some stuff, yes? We need to write y-intercept, meaning y is apples. That's how we're able to recall that, based on this right here. Everybody good? This is what we call taking active notes, in the sense of that I will not always write pieces like this, because I actually already wrote it up here by putting y next to apples. But some people need to see this extra piece to know where I'm coming from. Sometimes it has to be more direct, and that's completely okay. You just have to know what you need. I can't tell you what you need. Any questions there? Okay, this was looking at a normal word problem. This is looking at a table. So look at example number 3. What variable goes with independent? X. What goes with dependent? What variable goes with rate of change? What variable goes with initial value? Perfect. What 2 things are we comparing? Hours worked and amount paid. So from here, which one will be our independent? So which one is affecting which? So hours are affecting what? The amount paid. So which one's independent? Hours worked. You can just lay it right here on the edge of my desk. Which one is dependent? Looking at this, have we found slope from a table before? Yes. So what do I need to do? Do I have to do that when I have a table? No. What can I actually do? What'd you say? 8 minus 4. I can find these differences directly on the table, because am I not looking for delta x and delta y? So we can write those headers on either side. So you need to have your calculator out and ready, typing in. 8 minus 4 is the first one. Give them a second. Thank you. Give them a minute. Everybody got it typed in? Now, Zai, what'd you get? 4. Everybody get 4? So Is this increasing or decreasing? Increasing, because 4 is becoming 20, right? So what's the next group?
12 minus 8.
That's what we're typing in. Remember, you're not only participating, you are proving. So should you be typing in as well? Thank you to those who are not. This is something that is going to keep being repeated to you, but maybe not past this class. Be mindful. I will not always be your teacher, but you need to be taking these habits with you. What'd y'all get? What's the next group?
16 minus 12.
Typing it in if you haven't already. You're doing 16 minus 12. Same thing I just typed in right here. What'd y'all get? Last one. And what'd y'all get? Are they all the same?
Yes.
So what is my delta x?
Y equals 4.
Just 4. You can't say y equals 4 because what does hours worked go with? We don't label it for fun. We label it for us to be able to recall. Make sense? So don't speak without looking first. Don't speak without doing what first? Thinking. Because everything you say, you need to try to make it logical. Okay? What's next?
212 minus 151.
Absolutely. I'm going to move this over just a little bit. 212 or 212 minus 151. What'd y'all get?
61.
Is this increasing or decreasing?
Decrease.
How is it decreasing when 212 is bigger than 151?
Who said it was decreasing? I said increasing.
Who said decreasing?
Honey,
I did say increasing.
you said decreasing.
Do what I say.
So what's next before we get him on a tangent?
273 minus 212.
Thank you. Make sure you're typing in, please. Make sure you're typing in. Make sure you're typing in. If the teacher can do it, you can do it. If you choose not to, remember, that's choosing to be ignorant. That's choosing to be lazy. You have a test next week, and I will not be at your disposal for 2 out of those 4 days beforehand. I'll be working, and so will you. What did you get? What's next? Absolutely, 334 minus 273. Remember, typing it in, typing it in. Liz, make sure you're typing in, honey. Paper ain't going nowhere. What'd y'all get? What's next?
395
What'd y'all get? Are they all the same? So what is my delta y? So how would I find my rate of change given the things I just found?
It'll be 1 part of 4.
Thank you.
Good job.
So do I need to check that to see if it simplifies?
Yes.
Typing it in. If it gives you a decimal, what do you need to hit?
That one. It stays the same.
So how would I write this using words?
61 hours.
No.
I mean, 61 hours work.
No. Because you're not reading.
forever.
No.
61 stands for
It's 61.
So what unit goes with amount paid? Nope. What unit goes with amount paid? Money. What unit goes with money? No.
Dollar.
dollars. If I asked for variable, I would have said variable, but I said unit. Did I not?
Yeah, I heard.
Is knowing vocabulary important?
Yeah.
Because if you can't hear it, can you understand it?
No,
If you can't understand it, can you speak it?
no.
Be for real. I asked unit, which is dollars, right, Zah?
Yeah.
So how would I write that? $61 what? $61 what? I heard the correct things at first, but people kept saying different things instead of sticking with their guns the first time. $61 what? Per hour. You see how simple that is? Per what though? Per what? Per 4 hours, right? You need a 4 because that's not a 1 down there. That's a what? That's a 4. So you can't do that. Do I need to change anything for my unit rate?
No, it's about right. Yes, the only could.
$61 per every 4 hours or every 4 hours or for each 4 hours. It does not matter how you write it as long as the order makes sense.
So we want to put a 4 in the sentence.
Baby, there's a 4 right there. That's what y'all forgot. So, back to the question I asked initially. Can I leave this as is or do I need to change it for the unit rate? Are you reading?
Because it's not over 4.
It's what, Brandon?
It's not over 4.
Because can we flip the paper and see that unit rate needs to be over 1? What else do we need to know about unit rate? It should be a...
There should be a, what?
It's over 1. Yes, he already said that. But what else can we do? It could be a... Flip the paper over, Kingston. This is also on your paper. It's already written. Nope. Nope. I'm seeing if you can read and recall. So everybody flip that paper over and look where it says unit rate. Read through that a few times.
The output.
It can be a decimal.
Yeah.
Didn't you find a decimal for this already?
Yeah.
Then look at your calculator.
15.25.
So, what do you mean? Yes.
I said, how do you go to your resources?
You don't clear it. If you're working the same problem, why are you clearing it? But also, can't you just type in the fraction you just had?
Are you?
Good questions. But why are you clearing it when you work in the same problem? So, looking at this, how would I write the unit rate? So can we read that like money?
$15.25
You see how easy that is?
per hour work. Per minute. Per hour. Per hour.
Does it say minute right there? So it says per what?
Hour work.
Any questions there? How do I find the initial value when I have a table? What am I looking for? What were you saying, Tim? For which variable? Thank you. You're looking for when x is 0. I agree. Do you see that? No. So we have to find it. Yes? So I'll subtract 4 from 4. But what do I need to do now? So everyone needs to type in 151 minus 61.
I got 90.
Y'all agree or disagree? So do I see where my initial value is? So what's my initial value written with the actual unit it needs? Look back at the previous question beforehand. That way you have more confidence. Not parentheses. Because remember, initial value is y-intercept written how? $90. Because what represents y? Money, the amount paid. So you need the unit there. That's writing it in words. How would I write this equation? Nope. Thank you. Nope. 61 what? What is your M? What is your M? It needs to be over 4, because don't I see that right there? What you mean? Y'all can't read? So you tell me you ain't got this written on your paper?
I got that written on my paper.
So we couldn't recall that? Am I done? What's next then? Nope. Thank you.
Plus, no.
Because you need to be able to read and recall, participate and prove. So many of y'all have seen that y'all's grade has increased when you begin to be more involved in stuff like this. And that's not a coincidence. I didn't do anything for you. You started working for yourself. Because what did I tell you this 9 weeks? I'm not playing with you, and I'm not helping you when it comes to whether you do the work or you don't do the work. I cushioned you in T1, but this is y'all's real grades in T2. Any questions? Now we're pulling it from a graph. That's example 4. The function relating cost of entering a circus C to how many tickets you buy T is shown in the following graph. So, looking at this, what variable is independent? X. Which variable is dependent? Which variable is the rate of change? Which variable is the initial value? Thank you. What 2 things are being compared? One more time, I'm sorry. Tickets and cost. Which one would be independent? Tickets, because doesn't that affect the cost? So which one's dependent? How do I find the rate of change from a graph? Where do I start? The y-intercept, if there is one, right? Is there one in this case?
Yes.
Yes, where? At 2. So does that already answer a question for us already? What question does that answer over here? What question does that point answer for over here? That's part of that answer in the sense of it helps us find it. But what does this answer directly? Initial value. Because isn't x already 0 at a y-intercept? So, what would be my initial value? Don't need a unit? Because initial value is the y-intercept written how? So you need a unit. To what? $2. Because ain't it hitting on total cost? So now back to rate of change. What do I need to find in order to find my rate of change on this graph? Nope. Another lattice point. You see how you just went back? That's what you need to do. Okay? There's steps to it. Is there another lattice point to the right of this point? At what coordinate? 5, 5. So I need to start on which point? In which direction? Because that's my what point? Direction wise. Furthest left point that I have. So where do I go from here? Up where? Up 3. Because that looks like 1, 2, 3 to level with that point. That's a counting issue, not a content issue. Be careful. Where do I go from there? Thank you. Don't let the remediated parts tear you up. Okay? Counting is elementary, middle school. Don't let it throw you off right now. How would I write my slope here? What goes on the top? Y. So which one's y in this case? 3. So shouldn't that go on the top?
Yes.
Over.
5.
Guys, this is the y-axis. You need to label that. If it ain't labeled for you, you need to do it. That's what's called being proactive. Because how many of y'all knew that was the y-axis on the top? Not many, because you couldn't tell me what was going to go on the top of that fraction.
Then say 3.
And you heard Denver say 5, and you went 5 too.
That's what I did.
Yes, you did. And that's okay. She can make that mistake because now she knows which one goes on the top.
3.
Should I check to see if that simplifies?
Yes.
Type it in. If it gives you a decimal, what do you need to hit?
Not 1.
Math 1, enter. Thank you.
Same thing.
Thank you, Brandon. Hey, Davis. You look comfy. You look comfy. I want to be like you. Does it simplify or stay the same? Stays the same. So how would I write this in words?
You were right.
What goes with y?
Oh, we'll go Y, cost.
Cost. Cost is written with what unit? No. Money, which is what unit?
$.
Dollars. Thank you. You are 2 for 2, sir. You are on it. So how do I write that? $3, but you're not done. What needs to come next? Per what? Per every what? 5 tickets. Because what's at the bottom? What number? 5. So you can't assume it's a 1. You have to write what it is asking you. You have to write what is there. Assume nothing, okay? What I just say? Y'all got 2 Y's, and in some case, some of y'all got 4 like me. You got to use all of them. It's okay. That happens. Hello.
I was trying to smell the crack you were doing, but she noticed me. I was just smelling the crack you were doing. Sorry to give her.
You're fine, girl.
She's
And
always got the best people. I was like,
y'all, this is Miss Hansborough, if y'all didn't know.
somebody know me. Freaking solid over there.
He's 2 for 2 right now on his units.
Good. That's good, right?
Oh, yeah, that's great.
2 for 2. That's good.
He's the only one that was really getting it now. He knows his units for money is dollars.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm out of here.
See you later,
You're
Queen.
not as bold today. I need you to keep it up.
Oh, well, this candle's almost out, so don't worry. It'll be back to regular scheduled programming in about 2 days. Candle Day is 4th, 5th, and 6th, I believe.
Oh, I'll put that on.
Mm-hmm. Talk about sales. Looking at this, should I change anything for unit rate, or can I leave it the same? Why do I have to change it? It's not over 1. So what do I need to look for? A what? Decimal. Do I already have one? Where? In the calculator. If you deleted it, can you retype it and get your fraction? So type it back in if it ain't in there no more.
0.6.
Y'all agree or disagree with him? It's 0.6 or 0.6. They're exactly the same, right? So, rewriting that, it'd be m equals, I'm going to put 0.60 over 1. Because that's what we are looking for when it comes to unit rate. So how would I write that?
It'll be, how you, 0.6 per.
How do you read that as money? Thank you. 60 cents. Mm-hmm.
I mean, not per hour.
Per what?
Per ticket.
Thank you. Because that's what's on the x-axis. And you see how we already have the initial value because we had the graph? Moving on to the equation, remember the variables they asked you to use? So what variable goes with cost? C. What variable goes with tickets? We need to know that to write our equation. So what needs to come first? Which is what? C. What comes after that? You're writing an equation.
3
Equals. Then 3/5. Thank you, Kingston. Because isn't M what comes after the equal sign? Isn't that recalling? That's not teaching. That's you. What comes next? Which is what in this case?
Oh, T.
Thank you. Then plus 2, because that's B. You have to be able to recall this information. That's not a Miss Lipsey thing. That's a you thing. Once it's taught, it's up to you to study it. Any questions? Now you need to flip it on over. We need to talk about this first practice from yesterday. The directions say for each situation to find an independent and a dependent variable, then find the rate of change. Determine if the slope is increasing, decreasing, or constant. So someone read number 1 for me. Please and thank you.
A few days after getting a huge snowstorm, snow started melting on Friday. There was 36 inches of snow on Saturday. There was 32 inches on.
But my question here is, which example should you have referenced to help you with this one on the first page? Are we sure it's example B? Because do we compare days on B or C? C. So which one would be better to help us on this one? C. So what variable goes with independent? What variable? There we go. What goes with dependent? What 2 things are being compared? Days and inches. Because don't we see Saturday? Don't we see Friday? Don't we see inches and inches? Which one is the independent variable here? Days. Because the number of inches depend on the day of the week. Because if it's snowing for 5 days, expect more snow on the 5th day than the 1st day. Any questions? So what goes with dependent? Inches. If you put inches of snow, that's also fine. How do I find my rate of change in this case? What do I need? Absolutely. That's great. But what do I need prior to that? Reference back to your questions that we've done on this, on the first page.
Days and your inches.
To create what? He said we need days and inches to create what? To create... No, not quite. You need to create something prior to that, defining the slope. And you need 2 of these, if I recall. Vocabulary is important. Coordinates, coordinate pairs, ordered pairs, or what we like to commonly call them, points, right? We need 2 of those, combining inches and days. So, looking at this, what is our x? Right here, baby. Our x is? So we need to put these numerically, yes? So where did that 5 come from? Friday, because that's the 5th day of the week for us, correct? What goes with Saturday? Day 6. This is what I mean by write this stuff in. If you do not have this written, write it in. What are you waiting on? What are you waiting on? Because you're not getting our notes. These are your notes. If you're not watching the video, you are screwing yourself. I gotta be blunt. 3 weeks left in the semester. If you're not writing down this stuff, you can't complain to us about what you know and what you don't know. Because if I ain't gonna tell you, I promise you, the people that are up above me doing the higher maths are certainly not. Because they're assuming that you know this. It's common sense. If I'm writing it, you write it. Okay? Yes, ma'am.
We also add, if you go go to someone else for help that was not in the class, that they need your notes as well?
Yes, because y'all love to copy notes instead of watch the video. And y'all have to think, I look at your notes. What are you copying if that person ain't even copy what the teacher wrote? Yeah, think about it. So what's my first point that I need to write here? 5 and 36. Because on day 5 there were 36 inches of snow. 5 is X, 36 is inches, so it has to be Y. What's the other point? 6 and 32. Because that's day 6, there was 32 inches of snow. So what do I need to do from here? So what am I labeling? 5? 36? 6? 36, well 32. What do I do from there? Uh-huh.
32 minus 36.
Because that's Y2 minus Y1. Sorry, I didn't want to cut you off. I wanted to explain that. Over, thank you, sir. What's at the bottom?
6 minus 5.
Because that's X2 minus X1. What's being typed in first?
32 minus 36.
If I'm typing it, you need to type it, especially if you failed this yesterday. Stop playing with my time. Because Power School don't lie. You can write as many false grades on there as you like, but Power School is the truth. What did y'all get? Thank you. What's being typed in next?
6 minus 5.
Type it on in. What did y'all get?
1.
Do I need to type this in to see if it simplifies?
Yes.
Let's do that. So -4 divided by 1 gets you what?
-4.
So we know that these two things are the same, correct? We know this already. Because how do you write any whole number as a fraction? By putting it over 1. Absolutely. So the question here is, I'm going to use this to write this. Does everybody agree with that? So how would I write the rate of change given what I have?
-4 inches per day.
You're losing 4 inches of what every day? Of snow, right? So if you said losing 4 inches every day, if you put melting 4 inches every day, as long as it showed decreasing, I gave you credit because I know those words can come and go. As long as you wrote something 4 inches each or per day, I gave you credit. This is what I'm going to write. This is for the people who completely missed this part. But if you got a check next to yours, you do not have to write what I just wrote. But if you know that I marked yours out, you need to write this down. And stop playing. That melting comes from it being negative. Now my question here is, do I need to change anything from my rate of change to my unit rate? Why not? Thank you. It's over 1, so I ain't got to change a thing. So I can rewrite the same thing. Again, those who got this, you do not have to rewrite it. Those who did not get it, you need to be writing. Is this slope increasing, decreasing, or constant?
Decreasing.
Thank you, because it is what?
Going down.
Going down, or one word?
Negative.
Thank you, sir. You see how we turned that around from yesterday? Look at you. Any questions there? Then you know what's coming. Mm-hmm. You ain't got to wonder about it because you know exactly what's going to happen. So what I need you to do is I need you to do questions 9 and 10. While you at it, do number 2 as well. So 2, 9, and 10. That gives you 3 questions, review on all the things that we talked about. 3, 9, and 10. Absolutely.
You said 3?
It said 2, 9, and 10.
2, 9, and 10. Wait, I want to throw one more. Do 11. Because it gives you a little bit of everything. So 2, 9, 10, 11. Seems fair to me.